Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 10th of December, now it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon Moscow time. I'm Liman and this is my second update for a day in which I will share latest report of Russian Defense Ministry about progress of special military operation during the previous 24 hours. Hopefully you will find this video interesting, and if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary about any topic you like, and share this video with your friends. It will definitely help to deal with immensely aggressive and unfair YouTube algorithm and reach wider audience. And before I start, let me remind you, dear friends, that this morning I had a first update, quite an interesting one according to comments that I see from members of our community. And if you have not seen that video, please, if you have time, check that first update also. And in 3 hours time, 7 o'clock this evening Moscow time, I will have a live stream on main YouTube channel, and I hope you will find time to join the conversation. That being said, let's talk about news now. And according to Russian Defense Ministry, during the previous 24 hours in Kupyansk direction, units of Russian West group of forces with support of helicopters and artillery repelled 3 local-scale counteroffensives of 57th Mechanized Infantry Brigade of Ukrainian Armed Forces in Sinkovka area, which is Kharkov region. So let me show you this area that we are talking about. This is Kupyansk sector of the front line, and this is Sinkovka settlement, which is a hotspot at this point in this direction. And both sides are conducting military operations to establish full control over this settlement. And also, I will say, this forestry right next to Sinkovka is also disputed, and some clashes are taking place on daily basis. But overall, we did not see any significant intensification of the clashes between the sides in this direction. Although in this morning in the first update, I did report about interview of Ukrainian officer to Ukrainian media, in which he said that in upcoming days or weeks, this is my interpretation, dear friends, Ukrainian forces probably will conduct some regrouping and will move from left bank of the Oskol River to the right bank. They will retreat, basically. This officer was basically announcing that retreat. And this is Oskol River. If you take a look, I don't know if you can see on the map, but this blue line is Oskol River, which crosses Kupyansk city itself almost in the half. And I guess general direction of Ukraine's militaries are to prepare ground for withdrawal of their forces from the left bank of the Oskol River to the right bank, and also not just in the northern sectors, but I guess they are preparing retreat on the other sectors of the front line also. For example, in the Bakhmut area. In the Bakhmut area, I'm quite sure Ukrainian units are just waiting for orders to withdraw from current positions towards right bank of this water channel, this waterway channel that goes in between Bakhmut and Chisov Yar. So some significant changes will take place in upcoming weeks on the front line even before Russian large-scale offensive operation will start, about which I do talk regularly on main updates. But let's continue with the report of Russian Defense Ministry. And well, according to latest report, as a result of these local-scale clashes in Kupyansk direction, Ukrainian side lost up to 30 military personnel, 2 motor vehicles, 1 electronic warfare station, as well as 1 Gvozdika self-prepared artillery system. Next is Krasny Liman direction, which is on the southern side from Kupyansk sector. This is Liman, and the surrounding areas are basically called Liman direction or Krasny Liman direction. According to Russian Defense Ministry, units of Center group of forces in close cooperation with artillery repelled one local scale counteroffensive of 67th Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine near Serbiansky Forestry, and this is Serbiansky Forestry. This area here, which is constantly, constantly area of battles between the sides and contested at this moment. And according to Russian Defense Ministry, 31st National Guard Brigade's manpower of Ukrainian armed forces did suffer losses close to Serbianka, and overall casualties on Ukrainian side in this sector of the front mounted up to 50 military personnel, and also 2 motor vehicles were destroyed, 2 motor vehicles of Ukrainian army. We can clearly see significant decrease in hostility in the Krasny Liman direction, because if you remember, during the previous days, casualty numbers on part of Ukrainian forces were 4 or 5 times higher than during the previous 24 hours. This is probably because of regrouping of forces in this area, and in upcoming days, I guess we will see yet another wave of increase in activity in Krasny Liman direction. Next is Donetsk sector of the front line, usually most active sector when it comes to line of contact. And here we have two major directions, 2 major hotspots. Avdiivka area, which is in operational encirclement right now by Russian forces, and also of course Bakhmut direction, where Russian military personnel are conducting quite successful local scale offensive operations for at least 2 weeks now, and constantly improving their positions. They almost regain entirely control over the territories that Russian forces were controlling when Bakhmut did become, when Ukrainian forces finally left Bakhmut. And well, according to Russian Defense Ministry, units of South Group of Forces of Russian Army, with support of frontline aviation and heavy flamethrower systems, repelled 8 local-scale counteroffensives of Ukrainian armed forces, in particular units of 112th Territorial Defense, 24th Mechanized, 79th and 93rd Air Assault Brigades of Ukrainian armed forces near Klishchevka, Kirova, Marinka and Pobeda. So Ukrainian side, as I'm reporting on daily basis, are trying regularly to regain initiative on any of the directions of the front line, but Russian forces are ready for such developments, and that's why Russian side calls these Ukrainian counteroffensives mid counteroffensives or suicidal counteroffensives, because Ukrainian forces are not really achieving anything on the front line, just demilitarizing themselves, basically with active support of Russian side. And main hotspot is southern main areas where Kiev regime is trying to regain initiative is territory between Kurdyumovka and Bakhmut, Klishchevka, Andreevka settlements, and also southern part of Avdiivka direction, Marinka in particular, which is here, this settlement, and Marinka already like weak, if not more, 95-97% controlled by Russian forces, and only small pockets of resistance are remaining in the vicinity of the city on the northern western part of this settlement. Ukrainian forces are trying to conduct offensive operations in direction of Marinka, regain initiative, but Russian forces are ready for such development. And according to Russian Defense Ministry, at least 8 attacks on Donetsk direction, 8 Ukrainian counteroffensives were repelled. Also, in addition, South Group of forces of Russian army inflicted fire damage on the manpower of Ukrainian armed forces close to Artyomovskaya, which is Khramova, right next to Bakhmut. Let me show you on the map. This is Khromovo settlement in Russian. It's called Artyomovskaya. It has these two names, like Bakhmut itself, Ukrainian side, and worldwide this city is mentioned as Bakhmut. In Russian media, this city has Artyomovsk name, and that's the official name from Russia to the city. And Khromovo, it's already like 10 days, if not more, under full Russian control, and Russian forces are improving their positions in the area between Khromovo and Bogdanovka on regular basis, and entire this territory is under operational control of Russian side, and only small units of Ukrainian armed forces are trying to resist in this area without much success, and I believe it's only a matter of days at this point, and entire this square will become under full Russian control. But let's continue with the report of Russian Defense Ministry. So Russian side did conducted local scale offensive operations, as I mentioned, in direction of Khromovo or Artyomovskaya, also Krasny, which is also Bakhmut direction, dear friends, in between Bakhmut and Chisov Yar. That's where Krasny settlement is located. Also Klishevka, Andreevka, Kurdyumovka, and Marinka. So it was both way offensive, local scale offensive operations. Ukrainian side did try to conduct offensive, Russian side repelled, and then Russian forces began their counteroffensive operations. This is local scale skirmishes, of course, local scale skirmishes, but overall, because initiative is in Russian side and Russian side are more successful in this local scale operations, eventually situation for Ukrainian forces becoming more and more desperate. In all sectors of the front line, in Donetsk sector in particular. As a result of clashes in this direction, Ukrainian forces lost about 300 military personnel, 1 armored fighting vehicle, 3 motor vehicles, and 2 D-20 howitzers, and also 1 Akatsiya self-prepared system and 2 D-30 howitzers. Quite significant number of casualties, and Donetsk sector, as I mentioned initially, as almost always our main hotspot on the line of contact, where most intense battles are taking place, and the previous 24 hours were no exception. Next is South Donetsk direction, which is this area in between, let's say, Novomikhailivka, Paraskoivka settlements, and then Uglidar and Vremyevsky salient area. This direction is also quite active recently, last week also, and according to Russian Defense Ministry, units of East Group of forces of Russian Army with support of artillery inflicted fire damage on manpower and hardware of 79th Air Assault, 58th Mechanized Infantry, 102nd and 128th National Guard Brigades of Ukrainian Armed Forces close to Novomikhailivka, as I mentioned just now, Novodonetskaya, Nikolskaya, Staromayorskaya, which is the Donetsk People's Republic, and also Chervonne, Zaporizhzhia sector of the front line areas. As a result of clashes between the sides during the previous 24 hours, Ukrainian forces lost up to 80 military personnel and 2 motor vehicles. In the course of the counter-battery warfare, Ukrainian Akatsiya and Gvozdika self-prepared artillery systems were also destroyed. Well, yet again, in comparison to previous days, we can say that activities in South Donetsk sector of the front line slightly decreased, but this may also be due to regrouping of forces from both sides, and in upcoming days probably we will see another wave of intensification of clashes in this area. Next is Zaporizhzhia sector of the front line, usually most quiet sector for last quite a few weeks now. And according to Russian Defense Ministry, in Zaporizhzhia direction, units of Russian group of forces with support of artillery, repelled one local-scale counteroffensive of 117th Mechanized Brigade of Ukrainian Armed Forces. Counteroffensive of Ukrainian side did failed. And as a result of the clashes between the sides, Ukrainian forces lost 50 military personnel, up to 50 military personnel, and one motor vehicle. As I said, Zaporizhzhia sector of the front line, in comparison to other sectors, remains one of the most quiet sectors of the front line. Previous 24 hours was a little bit exception, because in Kupyansk direction, Ukrainian side lost less military personnel than in Zaporizhzhia sector. And finally Kherson direction, which is here, dear friends. It's mainly artillery duels at this point between the sides, and drone wars, also of course clashes for control over these small islands. But during the previous week, we also did observe significant decrease in activity in this sector of the front line. Also, and well, according to Russian Defense Ministry, as a result of actions of Russian group of forces in this sector, Ukrainian armed forces suffered significant losses, up to 60 military personnel, near Gavrilovka settlement, and some other areas also, Krinky and small footholds right next to destroyed Antonovsky Bridge and the railway bridge. And combined casualty number on part of Ukrainian forces are 60 military personnel, also 2 motor vehicles, and 1 Gvozdika self-prepared artillery systems. 2 Ukrainian military personnel did surrender during the previous 24 hours in Kherson direction. These 2 Ukrainian military personnel are lucky. They did manage to safely contact Russian forces and surrender without them being noticed by Ukrainian neo-Nazi formations. Otherwise, they will definitely open fire towards their positions and eliminate, like they do in many other instances, trying to keep Ukrainian forces in line by terrorizing them. Neo-Nazi units, and lately in this stopping or blocking detachment units, Kiev regime also began using mercenaries, and already there are videos circulating in internet when Ukrainian soldiers are executing basically in point-blank range those mercenaries that are in detachment units. This is it when it comes to short summary of the report of Russian Defense Ministry about progress of special military operation in previous 24 hours. Overall, we can say that during the previous 24 hours, combined casualties on Ukrainian side, according to Russian Defense Ministry, was about 470 military personnel, and during the clashes, Ukrainian forces lost up to 15 different type of weapon systems, from armored infantry fighting vehicles to self-propelled artillery systems. This is it for now. I hope you will find this update interesting and useful, and if so, please click that like button, leave some comment about any topic you like, and share this video with your friends. It will definitely help to deal with YouTube's algorithm, or at least I hope so. And well, before I end this video, let me remind you, dear friends, that today 7 o'clock Moscow time, 7 o'clock in the evening Moscow time, I will have a live stream, and I hope you will find the time to join the conversation. This is it for now. Have a great day and take care. See you soon.